Hey guys, Josh here from Sportitude Running. We're going to take a deep dive look into stack heights and heel to toe drops that play between 0 mil and 4 millimeters. Now, if you want to know how brands actually measure the stack height and the heel to toe drop, please see a link in our video below. We've actually done a little bit of brief video in regards to the stack height and heel to toe drop with running shoes. So in front of me, we have got a selection of running shoes. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about their heel to toe offsets, their stack heights, give you a bit of context around why they're important in this marketplace, and also give you some understanding on how we would actually profile runners to actually even consider this category in the first place. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. Okay, so let's talk about who the runner should be or who should be considering this category of shoes. Now, from my left, your right, right across to my right, your left, we've got zero drop, and this category of shoes through here are all 4 millimeter heel to toe offset. Now, just to give you some context and understanding around especially a zero drop shoe, traditionally speaking, someone who's going to run in a shoe like this Vivo Primus 2, they're going to be able to tolerate quite a lot of load through the body. Now, what I mean by that is there is no heel to toe offset. You just got a piece of very simple rubber between the base of your foot and the ground. No support whatsoever. So realistically, this is just basically a glorified protection piece for the sole of your foot. So therefore, someone who is mechanically pretty strong, strong calves, strong ITB, glutes, hamstrings, quads, very strong foot, no plantar fascia issues. They're really looking to strengthen their lower limbs from hip down. Then we can have a conversation around this specific shoe, because running in that, if you go from like a traditional 8 mil offset, putting yourself into this, I guarantee after probably 200 meters, you're going to feel your calves working overtime. So therefore, it is not for everyone, of course. So someone who's going to be considering this shoe, strong mechanically from hips down, no injuries, no soreness, no concerns. The other sort of zero drop shoe being the Ultra Olympus 3 here, it is 33 mil in the heel, 33 in the forefoot. So quite a bit of difference between what's offered. However, the heel to toe offset is the same, 0 millimeter. So there is quite a variance through here. That shoe specifically is for someone who's wanting to potentially progress through to a lower profile shoe like the Vivo. However, needs a little bit more support and cushioning. Not a lot of a rocker through the forefoot, more of a stable base shoe. However, again, for someone that may be looking at the Olympus VF3 here from Ultra, they are someone who still expects a bit from the midsole, still wants a little bit of protection from that cushioning, but is wanting to load up that lower limb, be it calf, soleus, plantar fascia, as well as they transition through their gait cycles. They're okay to tolerate a little bit of, I wouldn't say discomfort, but they're progressing towards a zero profile shoe through here. So having a little bit of load going up their lower limb is a-okay, but not to the point where they want to put their body under too much stress. So how do we categorize, or who do we put into these different heel to toe drops? When we're looking at the shoes to my right through here, so the Endorphin Shift, New Balance More, and the Hoka Bondi, they all have one very consistent theme which is presented. They have a really aggressive rocker through the forefoot. Now, what that essentially means is brands are trying to take load off the front half of the foot, so therefore the metatarsal heads in the forefoot. So as you transition through your whole gait cycle, we're going to take a little bit less load off by having that real nice, smooth rocker feel through the forefoot. Now, all three of these shoes, while they're the same heel to toe offset, 4 millimeters, they do run significantly different. So it's really important to know that from the get-go as well. So by taking load off the forefoot, what that actually does is it actually takes a fair bit of load off the stress of your plantar fascia, and thus takes a bit of load off that lower Achilles and calf muscle as well. That's for the majority of runners who are using this specific shoe. So where we would look at that, it's a great shoe for mileage running, easy kilometers out in the road, take a fair bit of stress off the bottom half of the foot by having that nice release through that rocker through the front half of the shoe. Then we go from that specific category and we look at zero drop shoes over here to my left. So great segue to the Olympus V here from Ultra. While the profile of the shoe doesn't look too dissimilar to the ones we have on the right here, it is actually zero drop. So 33 in the heel, 33 in the forefoot. So why would we have a conversation about this as a starting point? Well, it could be that someone is wanting to transition transition out of this category of shoe, you can actually do too much training in rocker shoes. It's important to know that. So we don't want to take too much load off the foot. We do want to put an element of stress, an element of sort of training through the lower limbs. So we're not so reliant on rocker shoes or carbon plates, for an example. So having a shoe like the Olympus in our offering is fantastic because it gives us a great segue for someone to come from a 4mm shoe to something with some cushioning, not overly aggressive in the rocker through the forefoot, but we want to progress through to potentially maybe go to the Ultimate, which is a zero drop shoe from Vivo, being the Primus 3 here, which is a really aggressive take on what we talk about minimalist conversation. But the Olympus V having some protection in the heel, some protection in the forefoot can allow that person to manipulate where they land in the shoe and still get some cushioning. Because going to this shoe through here, running in that, well, you're going to be right up on your toes, midfoot to forefoot running. So therefore, when you're landing midfoot to forefoot, a lot more stress and load goes through the calf muscle. A lot more reliance is on that soleus strength to stabilize that calf on that X and Y axis. And also the plantar fascia and Achilles can work overtime in that. So therefore, the Olympus V is a great segue to what we would classify a traditional minimalist shoe. Now, just touching on the heel to toe offsets and the entry point. I would like to talk about that for 2 ticks because the shoes we have on my right through here, while they're 4mm, you can run midfoot and forefoot in them, but still vast majority of the runners who end up in this shoe are heel strikers, midfoot strikers. So therefore, it's talking about the cushioning point being the back of the shoe through here. So we'll probably find the impact to be marginally higher than what we would find the deceleration point being the braking force through mid-starts. Now, the reference or the variance between impact and braking is a vitally important conversation when we're looking at 0 to 4mm, because your entry point on heel is going to be higher than what we would find if your entry point is on your forefoot. So using a shoe like the Vivo Primus 3 here, landing on your forefoot, you're going to have very low impact Gs because the shock is actually taken through your major muscle groups. Quad, glutes, hamstrings, calf muscles will take that vertical force, but then that force still has to go somewhere, and it's usually in the horizontal phase, which is the braking point of your gait cycle. Therefore, the increase in braking Gs is significantly higher when you're landing on your toes, which is exactly what you need to do in this shoe versus landing on your heel in a 4mm heel to toe offset rocket shoe like we have on the right hand side here. So thank you for tuning in, guys, to our conversation with reference to 0 to 4mm heel to toe drops conversation today. If you'd like to know more about other categories, we are doing a 5 to 9 and also a 10 plus video in the coming days. So stay tuned for those videos. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit the red button, stay notified, and we'll keep knocking out shoe reviews like this or category reviews, whatever you need, whatever's going to make you a better runner. We'll still do these videos for you, the running community all over the world. So thank you very much for tuning in. As I said, stay safe, be kind to one another, happy running, and we'll see you out on the road. Take care.